space out for Yoa. At the same time, these heroes can do that fairly well. Slardar, Rubik, Undying, and Void Spirit are active early on. Same thing goes for Motivate Trust. They've got a lot of space they can buy out for their own heroes. Savage is really the only key thing that needs to farm a lot. Maybe Death down the line. Oof, I'm actually thinking back. We've seen a couple of CK offs rush Agnums, and I'm recalling right now that was actually the one matchup in open qualifiers where I saw it a lot was with our friend Godot. Their stack, Godot was playing that offlane CK, and I don't know how to feel about it if it is going to be the ag rush for MG Trust. I think the investment feels strange, so we're going to have to see how Nevermind does build up here and tries to get that utility out in the hero.
I do agree. I mean, the Ags it feels kind of broken in the right drafts, I've got to say, John. Like, with all those illusions just constantly kind of running at you, it can be a bit hard to deal with them. They may not have too much of an issue with this Arc Warden dealing with them, but we'll see. It's the game 1 between Execration and Motivate Trust is set to begin. I want to give a quick shout out as well, John, to the... I was reviewing the VODs yesterday. There was a couple people that were quoting the good old Dr. Disrespect with the Raul every time we pronounce Rupido, so good to see we do have some cultured people in the chat. Always a pleasure.
Oh, that takes me back. Do you remember when the doc was still kind of... When PUBG was fresh, the doc was just building up, right? And that the Rule song came out. The best. I can't say the sponsor name, because, well, but, you know.
That's a great song.
That was a great song. Takes me... I miss those days. You know, when PUBG was fun, when Dota was fresh, before this patch with the outposts and silly stuff. When my friends used to play Dota, Mike, they're all gone. They've moved on. They've got lives now.
Don't say
They've got lives.
What happened to you?
Well, you could tell me, Mike. What am I? What's happening with me? It's good times. It's good times. Still good times. Rupido is enjoying it.
Rupido. Definitely is. Are we pronouncing his name wrong, John? Or are we just taking the piss out of the poor guy for no reason?
It's not exactly wrong. It's just we are exaggerating, to be fair, but it's not too wrong. I'd say it adds a bit of flair. I'm sure he's fine with it. You know how it is. He'd probably find something to poke fun with us as well. Just the way it goes in the Philippines.
Yeah.
That's how we do it, right? Like the Australians do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going to claim ignorance if I ever see him in person. I'm just going to say, hey, look, man, I'm Australian. I have no idea. John told me it was pronounced Rupido, and that's what I did. So if you want to beat someone up, go beat up John. I'll help you out. I'll hold him down for you.
Yeah, well, he's going to beat some people up in this lane. It's a Slardar Rubik lane for Rupido this game. They are up against the ET played by Boombell and Savage on Morphling, so not the easiest lane to bully out. But if you do play with your Slytherin Crush here, it does have a fairly wide AoE. And again, you've got this lift combination with BDZ. If Boombell oversteps, going to be an easy target to take out. So going to have to wait for those levels to build up. But Savage, for his part, again, it's going to be hard to finish him off early. Once he has level 3, the strength shift is going to be enough to keep him alive.
It certainly will, and of course, up until that level 3 point, you've always got someone like Boombell there on the Elder Titan to just be a real nuisance. With that Astral Spirit, getting so much bonus damage and just starting to run at you, hit you over and over again, can be quite difficult to deal with. Of course, we'll have a look at the other lanes as well. Mid lane, you do see Fearless up. Did the players change? In fact, never mind, because Fearless might just be dead here. He hits a Fairy Fire, he's going to survive and now salves up. But I could have sworn it was a different player in the mid lane yesterday.
Yeah, I believe it was supposed to be Ken. I'm not sure if this is Ken with the names bugging out. Shouldn't be bugging out with the team showing properly, but could be a stand-in. Perhaps Ken's not here, so J-Mini is taking over. Fearless is having a decent time. Again, it's a melee lane up against a puck, and J-Min's got to be careful with that.
Oh, Savage. Top lane, still level 1 on the Morphling, gets abused by the duo of Rupido and, of course, the Rubik being played by BDZ. They hit the level 2 timing just a little bit faster on the Slardar, and with that, he had the bash, he had the crush. It seemed like a very easy kill to get onto 23 Savage.
Yeah, he's got to watch out. Before level 3, his shift is way too slow. Even Boombelt's not that tanky, so trading like this is not necessarily good. Rupido is dropping low, but it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, bot lane. Yoe, he does end up going down. Q picks that one up. Meanwhile, top lane, Boombill will also die to BDZ. You've got to be very cautious. If the lift does come out, it's very, very easy to just perma-stun and deal enough damage to take anyone out in this lane.
And this is the exact kind of start Execration wanted to get done. They've got a draft that can go up fairly fast. They're making it work against Savage. He's going to have to work extra hard to bounce back from this slightly slower lane. He's still finding last hits, but it's not a very comfy lane for him. Boombell also going to be a bit slower to recover here. The bot lane as well, though, for Execration is equally as hard. You saw Yoe fall. Not the best of news for an Arc Warden. Midas timing going to be offset by that, so both teams have to watch their pause ones. Not heroes that like playing from behind too often.
No, they do not. Expecting a bit... Oh, another new player, John. Death on the CK.
Yeah, I think that's just Nevermind, but I can't be 100% because he's not officially on the roster. I think he is just temporary as well.
Well, Yoe going to be in a spot of danger here. The double stun is going to be quite painful for him, but with the help of RR and the Soul Rip, he is going to be okay to sustain himself in this lane. We'll have a look back at this later as top lane. Looks like Rupido is being chased down here by Boombill, but he just turns back around onto Boombill and dishes out so much damage. They aren't really able to finish him off. However, Boombill looks like he did cancel off the salve of this Slaughter. So at the very least, you did get through the that regen he did have left. Bot lane, RR is going to get dropped here. Q and Death do take him out.
Yeah, it's a really good pickup for that. They are working this dual lane quite well. Q's just working that spacing out that he can get with Lina. Even Yoe is really forced back a bit. So it's been a really uncomfy lane for Arc Warden. Look at his last hits here, Mike. 14-1. Even Savage up top in a very contested lane's having a better time. So this is good news for MG Trust. Execration is going to have to find a way to recover here for their Arc Warden.
They will. Top lane, how's Savage going now? Doing very well, 22-5. It's going to increase as time goes on, and it's kind of like you mentioned earlier, but he's just kind of unkillable now.
Money to burn.
As is the balanced life of Dota. Just level 3, can't kill you anymore. It's something you'd hope gets changed one day, but it probably never will be, as Savage gets lifted up. I didn't just cast this curse Savage, did I? No, I did not. BDZ will be forced to back off, and Rupido is trying to find a crush, but he will not be able to get one. With that, everyone does back off quite safely.
That's a missed opportunity, but really good saves coming out. Bot lane, however, Q.
Yeah, Q, he's gone. You know, if there's one thing I know about Arc Warden, John, in fact, maybe I don't know Arc Warden, Q will survive. Light Strike Array comes out, and Death will be able to find the kill. Alright. Well, apparently I have no clue about this hero, and that's the way I like it anyway, John. I don't play this garbage. I have standards.
Yeah, unfortunate for Yoe. He's just not getting anything in this lane. Last hits are still lagging behind here, Mike. 19-3. Again, the Lina just doing a lot of work. Top lane, though, it's been tough here for MG Trust. They drop again. And Savage left alone here could be in danger.
He could be, but he's got the level 2 strength morph. He's going to be alright. Still, of course, the Slaughter are going to be very, very happy about securing that kill. BDZ will allow him to have a free lane while he does go for a big pull with what looks to be a triple stack. And mid lane, there's actually 2 heroes here. It looks like they committed the Dream Coil at some stage on J Mini.
I came a long way to see you die.
J Mini's going to make a rotation up towards the top lane. He'll spot out Boombill. Boombill just getting those neutral creeps awake. It's like J Mini might actually go for them. He's thinking about it. Yeah, he's just going to clear him out. It's a lot of gold out for J Mini as now Boombell does try to interrupt, and Savage, he'll get himself a couple of large creeps. A Dream Coil is going to be there from Fearless with the added silence and the stomp to come in, but J Mini is going to wait it out, and looks like he might just make it out, so he does walk away. Fearless felt like he needed to try and help out Savage, and with that, nothing comes from this rotation on the puck.
A bit of a missed opportunity. Good calls coming out from Execration, saving out J-Mini, forcing out the TP as well. You see the lane swaps here from MG Truster. They drag Savage down bot. They're going for a very early tower push at right around 8 minutes, but the defense is coming in here.
That it is. J-Mini gonna try and fight back up against Death, but Death gonna try and run. Still, the lift back is there from BDZ. On the side, Savage trying to deal with the tombstone. Death somehow still alive, but the actual step is gonna fly through, and J-Mini is able to get the kill, as the rest of MG Trust are just gonna back off to safety. That's definitely a nice pickup there for our Void Spirit.
Yep, it's another successful rotation, this time for Execration. This does make Savage waste some time. He's not going to find a subjective anytime soon. He's not looking too healthy as well. I'd say our Morphling is running a bit of a risk going for this lane swap early. You've given Rupido a free lane up top. So our Slaughter now is just taking complete control up there, getting that solo EXP up. He's going to have a good timing on his own build-up, and it's just too slippery to catch out of Void Spirit with Alina Morph. It's just not going to be enough at this stage in the game as well.
Oh, Fearless, he was chasing down RR on the Undying, but decides better of it. Wouldn't really be worth even throwing the Dream Coil out for, I'm sure. They are trying to set up once again for this bottom tier 1 tower. You do have BDZ around, but he understands that the rotation has come along, as they are underneath vision as we speak. It's like MG Trust not going to try and rush in at all. They're just going to wait for the perfect timing. 23 Savage, meanwhile, will get started on slowly just hitting away onto that tier 1. Now they do show themselves, but J-Mini and BDZ both here, and there'll be another rotation out, this time from our Arc Warden, Yoe, but nothing going to come of it. It was just the Tempest double anyway. Meanwhile, up the top lane, they do get the Dream Coil off, and Death is there on to the Slaughter. Rupido in a bit of trouble, but BDZ going to be there to try and help out. They do get the Crush. Orb is out, but Death does have the Reality Rift. Be able to secure the kill onto our Slaughter.
It's a solid kill to get. They do manage to slow down Rupido, who was having a free lane. They still do not find objectives, though. So all these rotations out aren't leading to a increase in map control for either side. And so far, in a way, this is a success for MG Trust, because Savage does get to farm a little bit more. The Arc Warden, though, is starting to wrap into the Midas timing. And that's when things get scary. Once Yoe is allowed to farm up with his Midas, you do have to watch the Arc Warden at this point.
You certainly do. I'm sure Motivate Trust are going to be somewhat concerned about how well Yoe has been farming. He's only about 300 gold behind Savage on the Morph. And that is going to be a pretty big concern for them, as you don't really have an amazing farming tool on the Morphling. Speaking of Savage, by the way, John, have you seen what he's queued up? Straight ads.
Yep. That's an interesting one. Like, I'm not sure what he might be going for. Is he just going to turn into the CK, get the crits on his side, and get the control? Or go for the ET, double stuns as well, get the... Oh, no, it's going to be the ET. Right, the Ags upgrade ET, Astral Spirit with a free BKB. We've seen that a couple of times, and it can be broken if the timing's right, so we'll just have to see if Savage can save up. He has swapped again, you know, into a Manta and a Shotgun, so we'll see what he does opt for in the end. But the Ags here with, again, Elder Titan, the free BKB is very potent.
It certainly is. Maybe just later on he can go ahead and pick that up. RR top lane almost went down on the Undying. He's going to be fine. Tier 1 top and bot both being traded up. Mid lane, they were trying to get a bit of a push going, but Savage, he understands. He just wants to farm right now on that Morphling. He is top of the net worth board, so no real reason for him to try and be clever or anything like that, going for that mid tier 1. Just back to farming. Of course, Yoe, even with that Midas, is going to go for the Maelstrom straight after that, and that's kind of what we're used to seeing for a very long time now with these Arc Wardens. They do tend to just go straight Maelstrom after the Midas, and that's when things can get a little bit silly.
Yeah, and the split push really kicks in once you have that. Now, MG Trust are sort of setting themselves up to preempt that. Fearless has those early BOTs up in his puck. They've got some option to run around, meet that Tempest double, take it out, stop the split push with his high mobility puck. I think that's going to be very important for MG Trust. Fearless has to know where to be on the map to stop Yoa from getting that free shove out. They should keep that in check fairly well. Still, Execration do come out with a bit of a smoke. J Mini is fairly strong at level 9, so could look for an opportunity around now.
J Mini, who does he find though? Like he's gonna run into his teammate. Savage is on the low ground. This would be a great target if they believe they can get through to the HP pool of Savage, but the scan is going to come out and Savage is playing very confidently, just waiting around, not too afraid of this as BDZ. Does show himself for a second. Savage already knew. He will just back out. In the mid lane, however, they do spot out Boombell, and Boombell is going to be surrounded. He'll try for the stomp, but he goes down way too quick. BDZ on a killing spree now, and this Rubik does have another kill under his belt. And it looks like it is probably going to be a very nice game for him as the game goes on. However, top lane, Fearless is going to drop to J Mini, and mid lane, they also found Q.
Oh, BDZ. That is just the sweetness of Rubik, right? He started off with a Chaos Bolt, pops it off, gets the Light Strike Array afterwards, after throwing the Chaos Bolt, and finds that kill. Triple stun on one hero. How's that balanced?
I like Rubik, John. Don't talk about balance when there's an Arc Warden in the game. I don't want to hear it. There's an Arc Warden and a Morphling in the game, so if we're talking about balance, I don't want to see any attention directed to Rubik. Thank you very much, sir.
That's fair. That's fair. Still, starting to lay into that tier 1, and that's where the Arc Warden really starts to shine. The push just comes in, even with just a Tempest double, it's just slowly being chipped away, and MG Trust have to find an angle here.
Well, they haven't got the coil though, that's a big problem, but they're going to go in with the Reality Rift onto the Slider. Rubido trying to run away, but the Laguna is going to be there from Q. Onto the mid lane, Savage being stunned up by that Light Strike away from BDZ. That'll be it. They can't find much more, but they do get themselves a position 3 kill, and they do successfully hold on to that tier 1 mid tower.
I'd call that a pretty successful defense. The tower does go down to 200 HP though, so it's not going to be too long until they can find it in Execration's hand. They are still playing poke with J Mini, but it's just him alone. He doesn't really have any backup to go for kills now, so they're just forcing the concentration around mid. They are sticking around as a team in terms of farming up right now, not giving any openings towards MG Trust. That is slowing down their farm efficiency. You can see MG Trust slightly ahead in terms of overall net worth, just 1k up. Savage is also pulling ahead of our Arc Warden for now, and that is pretty much the best news you could hope for on MG Trust's side. They just need to get these key items flowing out as well. Fearless's Blink is going to be very important for our puck to start jumping in, getting the proper Dream Coils off, and once you have that, I think MG Trust can start to look for bigger fights down the line.
Well, they'll go for a big smoke up now, Fearless, along with Boombell, and I believe Q is right behind them with a new Aether Lens up now on the Lena. They're going to find J Mini. Dream Coil is out. He has no way out of this one as the Light Strike Array and the Rift comes in from Death. A great stomp out as well from Boombell, catching out too. They'll try to go after the Tombstone first, and now it's on to Rupido, who is trying to run away, but it looks like he probably won't make it out as Savage even comes in and takes the kill for himself.
Just a really good smoke out, catching the right heroes. Big stomp coming in, the control coming through. And the fact that BDZ is not around, I think outside of your Slaughter, the Rubik is the next best thing in terms of total control. And when you're running around without BDZ, you're probably not going to win a fight. You need that Rubik's lift. You need his damage mitigation with the Fade Bolt as well. And he was just way too far from that fight to help. They are going to be able to defend though in Savage.
Stomp is coming in, and that was BDZ's stomp, I believe. No, it wasn't. It was actually Boombell. With that, I mean, they don't really get much for their trouble. They're going to go back to that mid-tier 1 tower. Yoet throwing the Tempest double in. Meanwhile, RR Not expecting them to still be around, but J Mini now going to go on to the Lena. Q is going to get traded. 1 for 1. Leave the side of Execration will probably be more satisfied with that trade. It is still Motivate Trust, however, with a 3k net worth advantage.
Yeah, they've really pulled ahead here. The Blink is up now and Fearless as well. So our Puck Dream Call combination is going to come through a lot easier. And they are still building up this lead they've got on Savage. It's not a massive amount, but he is still pulling ahead of an Arc Warden, which is never good news when you have an Arc Warden. Still smoke up.
Places a ward. J Mini going to spot him out now, but can't really keep up with the Auto Titan. Looks like they are going to back off. However, Boombell, he's not done yet. He wants to keep scouting up. Fearless, of course, with that new Blink Dagger, wants to get involved. But they aren't going to find an opening. Execration have wisely backed off. And so instead, they're going to try and force the team fight by going into the mid-tier 1 tower, it seems. Big DD room being picked up here by 23 Savage. Actually perfect timing for him as well. And he also gets the Manta up. Problem is, you're up against an Arc Warden. So he's not going to allow you to push like this for free.
Nah, it's really the most annoying bit. And Yoa can get some good damage in. Savage at least denies that mid-tier 1. But that objective is gone, so it's a little bit more open for Execration to start running around. They're still trying to close out this network gap. It is still hurting them in the end, and they have really sunk all their eggs in one basket. It's all in Yoa right now, so everyone else's farm is low.
Certainly so. And there's that Aghanim Scepter. Now this Axe, John, it can start to become very overwhelming, especially this early on. There's just so many illusions globally being spawned up. I don't know if Execration really have the draft to put up with this many illusions.
It's going to be tricky. A lot of it relies on BDZ, I suppose, using Fade Vault properly and probably getting some lucky hits with a Maelstrom, getting some bounces off in the middle. They're going to need to get that done, which means BDZ positioning going to be key here. Still saving up for his own Blink on that Rubik, but that mid-tier 1 does fall in the end, so MG Trust evens out the map control, and they do get some good farm going in this bot jungle. There's just no contestation so far from Execration. They're playing on the opposite side of the map and just getting some steady farm themselves.
That they are. We're gonna group up in mid once again. Does have the boots to travel up, so is much more mobile now on the Arc Warden. Still, a team fight looks like it's about to break up as Savage. He's trying to bait in the mid lane and he's going down pretty darn quick, but now with the Strength Morph, he's going to survive as the illusions from death start coming in. Who do they want to start on? It looks like they want the Slaughter, but Rupido is going to be able to just run away as he is on the river. They keep chasing, but it's only death. A 3-man coil now out from Fearless, going to hold them all down with the Earth Splitter, but it's not going to be enough quite yet as Savage comes back in, trying to find a target. He'll go after BDZ first. They'll get one. Fearless does die to J Mini, however, and now with that, the Void Spirit finds a double kill as he goes on to Q. Savage still trying to fight back, kills off the Slaughter. RR set to drop as well. Savage on a double now as he goes after Yoe, but J Mini, he finds a triple kill on the Void Spirit. And Savage, he does not want any more part of this. A 3-for-3 trade. It does seem to have potentially just favored Execration by 1 gold, might I add, John. Literally 1 gold positive. And so a very even team fight for both teams. But speaking of even, 11-11, 1k net worth lead. One's all over the board.
It's all ones all the way down. It's a really tight game for both sides. Not the most amazing showcase of that first Ags use on the Phantasm, but it still did its job. What I think MG Trust has to do now is really maximize this Ags upgraded Phantasm, right? The cooldown's lower now, 75 seconds, so there's much more uptime for Death to go around with its supports, with possibly just Fearless around as well, getting some kills. They need to keep running down. They do smoke up, so they understand what they have to do. Maybe they find something big this time.
Well, they may. Blink Dagger is now up on the Slaughter, however, so you've got that initiation from Rupido as they do go in now. Fearless gets a nice Dream Coil off. They have silenced up BDZ. He wants to try and steal that Dream Coil, but it is a bit too late as Savage comes back in, takes down the Rubik, and takes down the Tombstone. Execration looking to back out. That Tempest double is not going to last very long. It's just so much damage out as now Death. He was looking for another. They won't mind though. Mid lane, they'll get started on the tier 2 tower with or without creeps. And on top of that, John, there is another DD rune up at the top rune spot. If the side of Motivate do want to keep going for another.
It's going to be a big spike for them if they wanted to. Going to get some good damage in. Could potentially go for the Roche. There are no wards here from Execration. So they can spot... no, in fact, this one ward they drop in your mid just doesn't give them vision into the pit. So could be a Roche play for MG Trust down the line. For now, going to bottle that DD. The shotgun for Savage is just about done here as well. So it's going to be flying in. The damage output of our Morphling is starting to kick into full gear. You do not have a BKB up yet on Yoe. You don't have any major spell damage mitigating stuff as well.
They jump in, but Savage, he's got the Ethereal Blade up now, and they just blow up Rupido. Death trying to go in. A big dream call out from Fearless. They've blown up J-Mini onto BDZ now. He gets a nice light strike array, and that is not the way we want to pause the game. Savage straight away with the question mark, like, what the hell is this? But, hey BDZ, calm down, sir. No swearing here. And PC hang. What does that mean, John?
Probably PC just froze up for a bit. Looks like fixed itself. Ready to go. Still a very question mark moment.
It is.
Right on, Savage. Let's see what happens here.
Savage, yeah, just blows up BDZ. Says, see you later. Onto Yoet. He will also die.
Total spawnage.
I gotta admit, John, that was a lot of frames, so I'm not going to be surprised if they did get FPS drops, as I have been experiencing a lot of that over the past month.
Yeah, you know what? It almost feels like Dota's just as demanding as Cyberpunk sometimes. just really stressing out some systems here. Still, that Roche we were talking about does fall. Savage does get the Aegis up. So a really good reveal on the shotgun on top of getting this Aegis as well. MG Trust back in the lead here, Mike. 11 to 16, 6k lead up. They are just going to be able to take some free objectives on the map. They've got a couple of ults up as well. Fearless has his. They've also got the ults up on Q. So they've got so many ways of setting up these disables and also countering the disables on Execration. Execration needs to find an angle, needs to get Yoe up to par.
That they do. Yoe is trying his absolute best. Because actually bot lane, Fearless. Gonna get caught out, completely surrounded by 3, including a Tempest double, but up at the Radiant Triangle, RR also ends up going down at 23 Savage. 6k net worth lead still remaining here for Motivate, but they're not going to be too happy about losing their puck like that. Fearless was trying to split push, but does get picked off, and you've still got to pay respect to the side of Execration. They do have a lot of pick-off potential.
Yeah, they still have this insane reach with J-Mini on that Void Spirit. He's got the Yule's combo as well for his side. And you just kind of respect that power. And you've also got this blink up on BDZ. So he's been setting up for his team. The blink is going to allow our Rubik to get in better spots in these fights. It does give a lot more utility towards Execration. Plus the Ags being finished up here as well. So J-Mini's got that AoE silence with a Resonant Pulse. 2 charges up as well. They have to be cautious about these item spikes here on Execration as they do start to chip away at some tier 1s. MG Trust, though, are setting their eyes out for tier 2s already, so not going to be a favorable trade if they leave this undefended.
Yeah, certainly not. Of course, they do have the magnetic field being placed there by Yoes, so they're not going to have too much of an issue just delaying that top tier 2 being taken. Execration, they will occupy the dire triangle for now, and all the rest of MG Trust, they've smoked up. They want to go for a big team fight. Back into their own triangle they'll probably go. BDZ in position to break the smoke if they do plan to run up, but Fearless is going to scout out with an orb. BDZ does blink away, but they continue moving forward onto the Rubik. They do commit the Dream Coil. They just want a nice easy kill, but BDZ stole the phase shift. It won't matter, however, he will die. And now the Phantasm does come out. And that is quite frankly, John, what does drop FPS quite a lot. This global Phantasm, every time that Death pops it, my screen freezes for a solid second.
Yeah, That is pretty sickening. Yeah, think of it as a cyberpunk experience, Mike. That's all it is. Dota's just trying to be Game of the Year as well, for 10 years counting, of course. Grand old game. Still, MG Trust, they find not the biggest pick-off, right? Like, Rubik's not the most important target for Execration to lose. They're still getting some space out for Yoa. He's still at number 1 in that for it, although he's not really leading by any noticeable margin. Savage is right at his heels, and you need a little bit more on this Arc Warden to really be up there. BKB is up, though, along with his Mjolnir. So the split push can really kick up to full gear, and Execration do smoke up now.
They're going to look to blow up the Tempest Stubble there. Savage getting himself some nice gold. Into the bot lane. Oh, Yoa, I meant to say, may have just kind of revealed himself, but right behind the side of Motivate Trust, they will get caught out. Boombill gets stunned up by the Slider. They jump in. A lot of illusions popping up. Savage, he's going to take down one in the form of the Undying onto J Mini. Rubido can't survive. He will die, but Savage is getting very low and will go down. That's the Aegis gone. Still Death fighting back just by himself with all these illusions. J Mini will die. And it's just so hard to fight into the Aghanim Scepter of the Chaos Knight. It's just too much.
Oh, it really is. They don't have enough wave clear to handle it. Even the Fade Bolt spam is just not good enough here for the side of Execration, so they need to find their spacing out. And the insane thing is, you know, that cooldown for Death is so low now. It's down to 75. It's going to be up in half a minute. And the high ground.
Well, Savage is trying. He has to Ghost Form himself. He's a little bit afraid of the damage that might come out from Yoe here as they does start strength warping up. A big stomp out from Boombill. Where's the follow-up damage? It's not going to be there. Savage in a bit of trouble, needs to waveform out. BDZ on the chase, really wants the kill. That'll be it. Close call there. They would have loved that Morphling kill, but they would not get it.
It's a pretty good defense, though, so nothing happens to their tier 3. For the most part, it is going to be standing. They get to buy themselves a little bit more time, but MG Trust are still in the driver's seat here. 13 to 21, 8k up on the side of MG Trust. The Ags for Savage just about ready to fly out. Like, he's just waiting for his courier to respawn, but he's going to have his Ags as well, which means he's probably going to go for the ET. Get that free BKB on his side. Really long charge as well if you bump into a lot of heroes. And Execration's going to have to find some other way to deal with this Morphling now.
That they are. It's like one of the ways they are going to deal with it, John, is the Eye of Skadi to be built up on Yoe. Aghanim Scepter, though, on Savage is going to prove to be a huge problem as, yeah, he will morph into Boombill. Get that free magic immunity. Who needs a BKB when you can just pick Morphling and buy an Aghanim Scepter instead? And you were trying to tell me that Rubik is broken, John. How dare you?
Oh, shut up. This is still nice, though. Like, besides a BKB, look at that added damage you can get once the Spirit does come back in. It's pretty ridiculous just how much you can do.
I forgot about that. I'm here talking about magic immunity, and I forgot that he gets a shitload of bonus damage. Excuse my French, by the way. It's just kind of ridiculous, don't you think?
Yeah, it's good times for Savage as soon as he gets that done, and whoop.
They get one. Fearless will deal with the Tempest Stumble up the top lane as well. And Death now with a Haste Rune is just a walking death machine, but it will wear off. J Mini getting caught out by a Light Strike away, and a great Dream Call out. It looks like they are going to kill off the Void Spirit mid lane. With the death of the Void Spirit, they can definitely go for that mid-tier 2 tower. In hell, they could probably try and force a buyback after that if they want.
Yeah, they could really set their sights for the high ground. Now, they don't have any Aegis, so it could be a bit of a risk. And you do have some split push coming out from Yoa. He is trying to shove at the side lane, so it's not going to be enough to hold Savage off. And they are going to set their sights out for the high ground slowly but surely.
Well, there's a Spirit moonwalking right now, John. There it goes. Savage's Spirit just doing the old moonwalk in the middle lane for a second. They are going to back off. No real kind of priority here to push too quick. Yoa with the Eye of Skadi now definitely going to be a lot more dangerous in terms of going against that Morphling. Meanwhile, in the triangle, Yoa just sending the Tempest double in, trying to get a bit of vision. But Death is waiting in that triangle. Nobody's going to be around, however. They won't walk up. Instead, they'll set up for that top tier 2 tower now. Motivate Trust should be able to secure this fairly easily.
Yeah, and there's just no defense coming through. They are still trying to split push out with Yoa, but that's all they can really hope for. Their outer towers are all gone now. So MG Trust only has the high ground to go for. They might wait for this next Rosh, half a minute away. So relatively quick respawn timer on a Roshan. And that is going to be Aegis and Cheese. So they're going to have even more durability coming in, even more sustain for themselves if they do secure that objective. Execration do not have wards outside. They are smoked up, but with no information, it's highly doubtful that they'd find anything.
They might find Fearless. They've caught him out here before. They are looping around. They might spot out the orb that was just thrown out by Fearless, but he goes for a quick TP play. The ping's coming out very quickly from J-Mini, but it is too late, and it's immediately into that Roshan pit, and that is very unfortunate timing for Execration, as they're literally across the map on the opposite side. They can't make it in time to try and defend this.
No, it took way too long. Aegis and Cheese now up as well, so they can easily look for the high ground, and it's all down to Yoa. It's all about the Arc Warden getting split push, getting a response out, but it doesn't feel like he's a menace. Like, Savage is always within 1,000 gold of him, so he doesn't have a major item advantage, and an Arc Warden without a major item advantage feels like a Alchemist that's not ahead as well. You know, it just kind of falls flat, and all it can really do is sort of split push like this for Yoa.
You know, Morphling players always get the most value out of everything. But the fact that they get level 25 voice lines of every single hero they morph into, as well as their own Morphling voice lines, it's just not fair. Bot lane. Fearless, he's going to orb away. Won't be caught out by BDZ. $12k net worth lead now here for Motivate. Very nice, easy game for them. They seem to have really found their footing, especially after yesterday.
Yeah. I'd say a big part is that Savage is on a comfort hero, right? Like, they pull out the Savage morph we were talking about in the draft, but this is the hero he's been known for since entering the pro scene. This is what he debuted with, and still something he does really perform spectacularly with. So this is probably within the lines of expectations, I'd say. Oh.
Yeah, Yoa getting caught out by Death. Again, John, with this one item on CK, you can pretty much kill anybody, as now Savage is going to come in, throws out the Astral Spirit first, gets himself some nice bonus damage and a free BKB before he gets worked on the tier 3 as, whoa, RR getting blown up by Death. Straight underneath the tier 4 towers. They ghost form him up as well, so he can't really die right now. Death just going to try and slowly run away. Rubido coming in for a stun, but a big dream call out now by Fearless. Savage going for the stomp, walking back in. He's low in HP, but it won't matter. He'll just strength morph now, and they're looking like they're in real bad shape here, Execration, unless they will kill off Savage. But that is one life. On to the next. A stun comes out with the lift, and Fearless is there to try and defend. A 3-second stun now out from BDZ, but Death is coming in. A massive stomp from Boombell into the fountain. They go, it seems. Savage trying to continue fighting 1 versus 4, but can he get this done? He's looking to be in pretty big trouble. He ghost forms himself up. He has no waveform yet. He will finally get it off at 1 HP. He will still survive, but the zombie's going to kill him off. The zombies will get ya. And MG Trust, they need to run. Or maybe they don't. Call an ambulance, but not for me, they say, as Death pops the ulti. Fearless going back in now, doesn't have the Dream Core unit, but does have it in 3 seconds as Yoa, the poor guy, just being dragged back into the loving arms of Death, and it is not going to be a pretty sight. He will die, so will Rupido, and now the Laguna is out for RR. BDZ's trying to survive, but he cannot. And I think we found the real carry, John. It's Death on this CK. He could literally kill anyone on the map by himself.
That he can. He's just making amazing work so far. That's just with a Blink, Ags, and an AC. That's all he really has. And the GG is called Execration. They had a great early start. We saw some big performances out from BDZ, but it's just not enough to carry them through. Savage had his comfort pick in the Morphling, and MG Trust, after a very rough time yesterday, looks like they have shaken it off. They are on top. I do believe Death might be a different person to Nevermind, so it looks like they might have a sub in. I have to find out in the lobby, but he is performing really well. Such a huge step up in the off lane. And as long as MG continue to perform this way, I think we're seeing glimpses of the old MG Trust that we used to see and know and love.
Absolutely. It's definitely looking a lot better than what we saw yesterday. And, you know, we're all glad to see it. But Execration, it's not like they were falling too far behind that game, but the draft definitely didn't come together. Let's see if they can try to get a draft that'll work in game number 2, which is set to come out in about 10 minutes. See you all then very, very soon. up an Oracle now. You know, it does pop up here and there. Pretty strong kind of support to have. I suppose it could be quite useful as well up against the Slider. Having that Fate's Edict available, just getting the natural disarm off on the Slider will be quite nice. Naturally, keeping your PA alive for longer generally pays off pretty well.
Yeah, certainly does. And it's really nice to preempt any sort of physical core that MG Trust might be looking at as well. So in that sense, you're getting a ton of value from the Oracle. You do get some setup for the Mars, like the route into Spear is pretty nice to have down the line. So that's one way you can also get that combination off with your Mars. I think MG Trust, still thinking about it. Like, they need something that can work with their Slardar. So they might want to tie it in with, again, a physical core. They might look towards their Pause 5 first, though. Their Pause 5 or Pause 4, depending on what they want to do with their Snap. Something that can kind of help them mitigate what the Oracle does and kind of play with their Slardar. They go to Storm first, though, which is early as well. Like, we're talking about early Pause 1 pickup for Execration, a really early Pause 2 here, but Fearless Storm, we do get treated to that, and Oracle alone doesn't really disable the Storm too well. Mars as well doesn't necessarily stop him, but the disarm on the Oracle can make it hard for the Storm, either blocking the magic damage off or stopping the Storm from spamming out his overloads. That can be a bit of a tricky issue for Fearless, but we've seen him play his Storm. We know how he plays it. He plays on the bleeding edge, and he tends to deliver. So we'll just see what he can get done in this game.
That he does. I think the Storm's going to be quite nice here, though, right? Like, especially when you're going up against that Oracle, you want someone to be able to just jump the back lines and try to burst down the Oracle ASAP in the middle of a team fight. I think that might just be the idea here from Motivate Trust. And, I do agree that maybe it was a pick or two early, but, well, Execration, they will respond with an Earth Spirit, to which Motivate Trust will just snap pick up a Lifestealer. They do not care about that Earth Spirit pick whatsoever, apparently. That should be a Pause 4 Earth Spirit that we are seeing. I suppose there is always the potential for a mid-Earth Spirit to pop up, but I don't see any real necessity for that. The Pause 4 will be good enough with this draft for Execration.
Yeah, it gives him a really good silence to deal with the Storm Spirit as well. There's some decent rotation potentials here. Earth Spirit Oracle, the roll in with a root is really darn strong. I think MG Trust going for this Lifestealer, as you mentioned, really negates a lot of what the Oracle and Earth Spirit bring, at least in terms of controlling the safe laner. Lifestealer has his built-in Rage. You've got two very good vehicles for the Lifestealer in the Slaughter Storm. He has some really nice infest targets here. They are holding MG Trust's last pick for the support, though, which is not ideal. At the same time, they do have some really strong cores already, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. There's some potential here for MG Trust to go with this triple delivery as well, which never happens, but I always love pointing out Infest Slardar, Gobble Up Snap, and toss 3 heroes out. That's always nice on paper, but never happens, Mike. Would love to see it one day, but it doesn't. It really doesn't happen.
Why doesn't it?
I think it's happened once. It's happened once. That's it. Like, literally once, and it didn't lead to anything big. And they stopped trying to work that combination because they were wasting a lot of time infested. It's so nice, though. It's just so funny to see. But
it is. It's a nice surprise to have fly out of the sky, you know? It's you never know, John. Maybe today will be the game where we get to enjoy that. We are going to have to wait one more ban out before we do, however. Execration seem to be just focusing in on some position 4s and 5s right now as they do get rid of the Elder Titan. And now the Clockwork as well. Just wanting to make sure that there aren't these disruptive kind of position 4s in a team fight that can be kind of annoying for the PA. And Motivate Trust bring out a Timbersaw. So, who's playing support on Motivate Trust's draft?
Slardar for Snap 5. I think that's how it's going to go. That's probably the best way to go about it. So they're bringing back the Slardar support, which we have seen once or twice as well. Very rarely. I'd literally say once or twice. But it can kind of work. The issue here now is this is fairly greedy. You're talking about the Storm that's going to need to farm. You're talking about the Slardar that will need a blink down the line. So you're going to have to farm up on that Pause 4. Snapfire will really take the backseat here. More than likely not going to be anything else beyond a mech. Maybe Guardian Greaves down the line for a snap. Timbersaw does do a lot of work here, though. Like, it rips through the PA until the BKB's up, rips through the Mars as well, and even his Doom can be ripped apart, although the Doom now gives him a piece of control as well. So a really different draft here for Game 2, Mike, I have to say. It's gonna be an interesting one. Support Slardar comes out, a last pick Doom, slides in for Execration, which looks to be J Minis here down mid. It's gonna be a rather interesting one to watch out for here.
That it will be. This should be a pretty interesting game number 2. I'm looking forward to see how this draft in particular from Motivate Trust works out, as they have gotten just a little bit greedy with these supports that they have, being the Snapfire Slardar, but I don't really doubt it can work, right? Because you've got this cookie set up for the Crush, and as long as you have a core around, it should be some pretty easy follow-up and a free kill. But only time will tell as we do go into game number 2. See if Execration can try to force this out to a draw. Of course, Motivate Trust, they are kind of desperate to get some points on the board if they wish to have a chance at trying to get to the upper bracket. Overall, just, you know, winning would be a pretty good feeling right now for them, as they have been having a really rough time over the past couple days. Let's see if they can make it work. Of course, after this as well, John, we do have 2 more series on, but Fnatic versus Neon will be on straight after this one. Should be a pretty interesting matchup between those two.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Again, Neon has been up and down, and you and I were having a chat personally about their roster shakeup, right? Like the fact that JG left, Scam moves down to a 4 and then moves back to 3, Play Hard back and 4, Natsumi on 1. And that roster, they're playing in multiple tournaments as well, as was the case in during the Summit 13 as well for a lot of teams. But you do have a couple of tournaments running concurrently. Neon keeps posting about their games. I believe MG Trust is also playing multiple tournaments as well. So all of that's a factor here. And just like MG Trust, right? Adjusting to this new roster, Neon's going through the same process. So we'll have to see how it goes down the line. MG Trust, though, I mean, it's so strange. Like they've shaken up their roster, right? They've been experimenting with that, but right now where they're doing well is with a complete newcomer, Death, standing in for them, and it's actually going spectacularly well. So we'll see if they can keep that momentum up, and whether or not Death continues to deliver the goods here on the off lane.
Well, he's looking for a team, you know, according to his tag. So gotta perform while you can, you know. Every opportunity you get, you've got to show off the best you have, and well, game 1 was great for Death. We'll see how he does in game 2.
Yeah, I feel like we've watched Death before, right? Like on,
I believe
Resurgence, RSG. Do you remember that stack? Yeah, it was on RSG. I swear to goodness. That was the old KYXY stack way back, I think, last year. Right? For a moment, it was a KYXY stack, RSG, or a Miracle stack. One of those two. If I swear to goodness. It's been so long.
We definitely have casted Death before, for sure. I don't remember what team it was exactly, but I know we've casted the player before. It's the name definitely rings a bell. It's not the North American Death either. There is one player called that in NA, but it's not him. Or maybe it is, and we just don't know it. It doesn't really matter at this point, though.
Yeah, I just checked. It was Resurgence, so he is a known entity, and he's performing well. Going to be an even trade in bounties here. So we're just going to have to see how it breaks out down the line. Of course, we have our top lane, Rupido, up on his Mars, along with BDZ on the Earth Spirit. They're going to be laning up against Boombell on this support Slardar, along with Savage on the Lifestealer. So a dual melee lane up against a Mars. Not necessarily a fun time for the opposing lineup, but Boombell is fairly tanky. He's got the Crush, so they have some tools to play tag here up against this Mars.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this this laning stage works for Motivate Trust with this kind of dual melee duo up at the top lane. For now, Boombell does go for the Crush level 1, trying to get that range creep, but it was denied off him by Rupido. The 23 Savage is going to move his way in and try to get a bit of harassment out, but we'll have a look at the other lanes as well. Of course, in the mid lane, J Mini going to be up against Fearless. Fearless, on one of his signatures, being the Storm Spirit, should be feeling very, very confident. And I don't think he has too much to worry about either up against the Doom. Obviously, it's going to be Fearless's job to be as aggressive as possible, as the Doom can't really fight back right now. Not until you have the Doom up. Until then, I'm sure Fearless will be trying to get as much harassment out as possible.
Yeah, and this is going to be important for Fearless. Keep stalling out the Doom and just get a good start in that Storm.
Yeah, bot lane as well, Yoe ends up killing off the Snapfire Q. The death on the Timbersaw can't really do much to help him out either, especially considering he was only level 1 and only had the reactive armor. So there was definitely no way for him to actually help the Snapfire. And this is one of those lanes I think you do have to be slightly cautious of, because if you do get hit by the Fortune's End, it could mean your death on this Snapfire.
Yeah, especially in these early levels, I think you've got to wait for Death to hit his level 3, level 4 spike, and have at least level 2 on Q before any of her utility can come in. So it's going to be a slower start, giving off that kill. Death, though, is given some space to gain some EXP, but they're not really able to stop Yoe here just yet. Matching the last hits of Death doesn't care too much for these early levels in the Whirling Death. And that just means your PA has a comfy time farming. Of course, if things go bad, you've got the Stifling Dagger spam to play with anyway. So overall, not the worst lane the PA has to deal with.
I'd say not. Mid lane, Fearless, he's been dropping fairly low now, so J Mini has been able to find a way to get some harassment out. So Fearless is going to stick around. There is going to be a rotation to come out from Q on the Snapfire. Ultimately, Q doesn't seem to be able to really find an opportunity quite yet, so he's just going to roam around the Radiant jungle, try to find something else to do. He won't really be required to be down at the bot lane with the Timbersaw. There's really not much in the way of killing the Timber right now.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Looks like this laning stage might be a lot more quiet than last game. So most of these lanes, as I say that they are chasing RR down on the Oracle, looks like they are going to find the kill. But I was going to say that most of these lanes, they are going to need the heroes to get a lot more XP before they can do much. Although, mid lane, BDZ tried to roll in onto Fearless. He did land, and J Mini is going to try and go for the kill and does get it. Now Q rotates in, but misses the Scatter Blast. Had he landed that Scatter Blast, he may have actually helped get the kill on J Mini, but he does not.
And that's all down to the fact that BDC saw the opportunity, TP'd mid, and they managed to get that kill. And this is something you do have to watch out for if you're that Storm. You have to watch the movement of the Earth Spirit. Really good timing on BDZ. They lock him out with this power rune at the 4-minute mark as well. It's going to be trickier, but it spawns right in the right spot where Boombell is.
And it does. The Arcane Rune going to be very nice for Fearless. That's a very unfortunate kind of death for Fearless to have, though. It was kind of one of the peaks of the Storm in the laning phase that at the time he did go down, but he's going to try again with a cookie out from Q, and they will be able to kill him off this time. It's really that simple for Fearless once the levels are up on the Storm. Meanwhile, top lane, Rupido is going to be in a slight bit of trouble. 23 Savage is going to be there along with Boombell. He does eat a Fairy Fire, but it is not going to help enough. He will die. Meanwhile, mid lane, BDZ trying to go onto Fearless, but it is going to cost him his own life. And that is really bad news, as you just fed another kill over to the Storm, who was kind of struggling. Struggling no longer.
That's a huge set of kills to give on to Fearless. This just sets him up to get a very fast level 6, and once your Storm hits 6, while your Doom is not at that point, you've got a smooth run here to just keep farming up. Of course, you can just play in the jungle, spam out some overloads, and just clear some stacks out, and that's exactly what Fearless does. So good so far. Good laning phase so far for MG Trust. They're winning out every single side. The one blessing here for Execration is that bot lane where Yoa is still keeping up pace. Artemir saw again not able to slow down Yoa too much. You can see that he is forced to jump around and drag the wave around a bit. But so far, your PA is still having a fairly good ramp up here. So that's something that MG Trust will have to watch out for. Savage is having the same time in the top lane though. So in that sense, they're kind of balancing that progression that Yoa is getting by having Savage get this good acceleration as well in the life sealer.
Absolutely.
Bottom tower is under attack.
BDZ going to pick up a nice Invis rune for himself. start roaming through the Dire jungle, seeing what kind of information he can get out of this, and he will spot out some very nice stacks. I'm sure they will try to contest later on. It's a bit hard though, because you can't really contest the stacks very well with the Doom. And well, the one person who probably could is going to be Rupido, but he does end up dying to Fearless. Excuse the repeat. Fearless with a very nice rotation out on the Storm. Does end up getting the kill, and well, eventually with that he can start rotating around to those stacks and start just claiming them.
Yeah, it's an excellent start for Fearless. He's already set himself up to snowball hard, and this is something Execration has to be worried about. Like, they had that successful rotation mid, they stopped doing it. BDZ's camping out in these stacks though, but they already lost their bot tier 1 as well, so now you have to have Yoe go to a different part of the map to farm up. And BDZ, I mean, it's good that he's spotting this out, but he's not doing much here.
Yeah, BDZ's in big trouble now. He does have the roll, but he's not going to have the chance to even throw it out. Another nice pickup here from Motivate Trust as they are starting to engage in the jungle. They do run into the Slanner. Boombill going to be in a spot of danger and does go down. And they really want those stacks, but Savage now is going to show up and make sure that they do not feel safe. The Savage will get started, but they are going to contest. Death also showing up. The Cookie is there. Savage going to get speared up now. Doom will be committed, but J-Mini already dead, and now Fearless zipping in all the way from the outpost is going to end up killing off RR. They do kill Savage, but Fearless, he might just have a cleanup here. They find all of them trying to contest, and Fearless will say, thank you very much. I'll take the stacks now.
Not worthwhile for Execration. I mean, they tried. It's a bit too staggered for them to come in. That's the full force of MG Trust, while Execration had to play as 4. The Doom usage wasn't ideal as well. Like, you lock out Savage, but your real issue is Fearless. Like, this Storm is just off to a running start. Kaya gonna be built up now, and once you've got that, of course, the magic damage output is gonna be amazing. Into that Bloodstone for Fearless. So his timings are gonna be met really fast. And Execration, again, it's starting to feel like they're depending fully on Yoe to carry this game. They are also going for the slightly slower build than J-Mini, opting for the Midas build-up. So you're talking about Devour Gold plus Midas, but that does mean it'll be a bit longer until your Doom can really start to be your frontliner here.
Absolutely. Death going to be in charge of just defending that mid lane. Probably going to start slowly pushing it out as he doesn't really have a bottom lane to go to, and well, the top tier 1 hasn't really been pressured so much by Execration. They just put the creep wave there. Bot lane looks like Q is having a look for Yoe, but he is going to go for a TP out, and the Cookie from Q is not going to land. He's just trying to go for a blind stun into the TP, but it does not work out for him. Where did Yoe go? All the way back to the fountain, in fact. So he's going to have to run back up towards his own triangle. Meanwhile, mid, they might have to actually start dealing with Death here. He's just kind of been sitting around, soaking the tower's damage the whole time. He has 24 reactive armor stacks, and well, they can't really do too much in the way of dealing with him at the moment. Fearless, going to zip in onto the Doom, and J-Mini's gone. Just that easy.
Yeah. It's another kill for Fearless as well. Like, every single time you bleed these kills off to the Storm, it's never a good feeling. They can't go for the defense in that mid-tier 1, so that's 2 towers that's going to fall for Execration. They already lost their bot tier 1. Mid-tier 1 is going to open up this bot jungle. There's already an offensive ward here from MG Trust. So it limits the farming patterns that Yoe can get to avail for himself. He's going to have to stick in that triangle. And even that triangle already has an offensive ward as well. So it's just very scary right now for Execration. Their map is a bit too small for what they want to do here.
Oh, roll mid lane, doesn't even connect. J-Mini, he has the Doom, but he's not even going to bother trying to use it. He knows. Did you spot this, by the way? J-Mini with the Midas?
Yep. He went for the Midas. It's going to delay him so much. Like, Midas plus Devour is good gold, but it does mean your Doom. Blink timing's going to be off. Shiva's Guard timing's going to be slower as well. And it's a matter of timing. All he wants is to blink up to a Doom, blink up to a Storm and Doom him, but they can't get that done.
Or Q, going to be in a spot of danger, but Death is going to be around. Still BDZ now going to roll in onto the Lifestealer. They do end up dooming up 23 Savage. He's trying to survive this one out. They still have the Timber, but they get the Lifestealer. BDZ, he'll also die on the Earth Spirit as now Boombill is trying to rush in, but they don't really have their Storm around either. So I don't believe that this pursuit is really worthwhile for them. As Fearless is currently just focused in on pushing that top tier 1 tower. With that, I believe Execration are going to get away with the 23 Savage kill.
It's a big pickup for Execration. Putting a dent on Savage's farm is great. It allows Yoa to start to slowly pull ahead. Still waiting for that Battle of Fury to be done on our PA. So that kill is going to help him inch towards that point. They are still kind of aggressively posturing for Mortar. MG Trust are looking a bit scared. Like the Kaya again is almost done here for Fearless into the Bloodstone. Once you've got that in your Storm, he is going to be susceptible to Doom, but J Mini's just never found the angle. And it's all down to this Midas buildup. He is rushing to Blink next, but that's not going to be in time. There's a smoke out here from MG Trust.
There is. Regen rune on Fearless is going to mean he can just keep resetting in this team fight. Savage would love to bait in the side of Execration, but they don't really spot him out. But they do spot out the Mars in the mid lane, but Fearless is going to have to dive the tier 2 tower if he wants to go for this, and he will just reveal himself. So not really worth trying to dive the tier 2 for the Mars. And while that's happening, John, top lane, they are going back to that tier 1 top tower now. Looks like Execration is going to be able to get away with it. Or maybe not, as the TPs are coming in. Death will show on the tier 1, and that is going to be enough for them to just say, screw it, this is probably not worth it.
And there's just no objective progression here for Execration. Tier 1's all still standing for MG Trust. They lost their bot tier 2, so that bot jungle is completely open. Like, there's no farm to be had here for Execration. Not a very safe spot for them. They're playing in the triangle, but we're talking about 3 cores sharing that triangle. You would want to maybe dip into this Dari jungle now if you're Execration, but even that spot's also not the safest. They do have one forward ward by the ramp, but that is being pinged out. So they need to find a way to split this farm up. At the least, the passive gold gain of J Mini again is sort of working out because of the Flower plus Midas. So the Blink is going to be up sooner rather than later. And that will give them a nice tool to go up against the Doom, to go up against Storm, to go up against the Lifestealer. You ideally just want to find a kill in Fearless. Like, he's been allowed to build up a streak. It's going to be worth a lot of gold if he does drop, and because he's skipping a Linken's here, he's going to drop rather easily when the Doom on top.
He certainly is. Boombell going to rush into the triangle. Ward's being placed, but RR is there ready to already deny it off. Fortune's End is going to follow Boombell down, but I mean, he's a Slaughter. He just runs so darn quick. It really doesn't matter. As Yoa on the PA is about to have that Battle Fury up, but he certainly is feeling like he's fallen a little bit behind here. Maybe with this Battle Fury he can catch up. But Motivate Trust, they seem to sense that the Execration boys are behind right now, and they definitely want to try and just start a fight. They might just get what they asked for, as Death. It's frontlining. They do drop the arena, the spear also landing, and they do jump in straight after that Timber, but Mortimer's Kisses are going to come. Death does go down into Boombill now. That Slaughter drops very low, also dies. Savage will at least kill off BDZ, but that is not a very worthwhile trade for Motivate.
No, definitely not. Very awkward fight for them to take. They're going to need to have a self-purge on their Timbersaw before anything else happens. So probably looking to finish up the Lotus Orb down the line before they can go for that, or finish up the Guardian Greaves. Because right now, the moment you silence that Timbersaw with your Earth Spirit, it's going to be very vulnerable. And that's not exactly what you want for Death. They are also sort of waiting for Q to finish the Ags. He's been given a lot of space to farm this up, and the Snapfire is about 100 gold off. So they can come in with the gobble up plays, and potentially with the double hero delivery, Infest into Slaughter into gobble up might come into play. I don't know if Savage is ready though. All he has is the Armlet plus Sanj. And, you know, he's top of net worth right now. but he has been very vulnerable in the front, so they might consider just throwing out perhaps just the slaughter to get the fight started here.
So this Ag's up. They definitely want to try and have another crack.
Dire should look to their top tower.
Savage. Been seeing this a lot, this casual Sanj. A lot of plays recently. See if he does plan to finish it off or whether he's just going to keep it as a casual Sanj. Because the status resist can be quite nice, but that's really it. While the top tier 1 does go down, looks like Execration are more than happy to go a little bit further as they do start to occupy the Dire triangle, or rather just the Dire jungle.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Motivate Trust, no real urgency to try and fight into them at the moment, even with that Snapfire Axe. Seems like they're okay to just sit around and chill out for a while, but as they do that, the PA is starting to really escalate in farm now, overtaking Savage for that top net worth spot. They are kind of just fighting over it, but with the Battle Fury, it is going to be pretty easy to just keep up as top lane. The Axe do get shown. BDZ will be the victim as he does die to Fearless on the Storm.
Yeah, that's going to be a big kill for Fearless. That allows him to get his Bloodstone out as well. So it's flying in. It's going to look to try to build up more charges, and they do start to take over that jungle once more. MG Trust, with these item spikes, are going to try to push the advantage. They're going to want to build more stacks up in Fearless. Probably just going to wait for the next charge of that Gobble Up before making a move.
Fearless looking to go in now. The rest of his team. Again, they're not going to really be willing to dive the tier 2 tower. I think they're just going to accept the fact that the map is theirs for now and just farm as much as possible. Like Savage is going to keep working towards his own AC. Just very standard stuff.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
And mid lane, Arena is going to be dropped. Death. Going to be alright.
Oh,
Lotus Orb
no.
was there. They do doom him up, but he dooms himself with that Lotus Orb available. Now Rupiro is going to go down. Looks like they will go for Ara on the Oracle, and he's also going to die. Very unfortunate there, but a bit of a misplay out from our Doom, who does kind of just use his ulti on himself.
Oh man, it's not the target he wants to go for. Death, he's doomed him twice now, and it just doesn't pay off. Now they're going to have to pay the price with a Roche falling down. First Aegis of the game, flying out to MG Trust. Going to be a big one if they do give it to Fearless, which it looks like they might, but Fearless, again, with the Bloodstone up, probably feels comfy enough without it. And they give it to Fearless in the end. Pops his regen as well. So this is a big loss for Execration. Doom down for a minute and a half means that MG Trust can just go hunting. They have the Kisses ready, they have Gobble Up ready, they can look to make a play onto the high ground if they wanted to.
Oh, Fearless is looking at Yoe. Doesn't seem to know the PA is around, so he will not make the jump onto him. They're definitely feeling very confident now, though, with that Aegis. And oh, Yoe. Yeah, he shows himself, not realizing Boombell was around, and he's just going to die. Fearless just takes another kill on the Storm.
Yeah, that's not a good spot now for Execration. That drops Yoe all the way back down. He was number 2 in net worth a while ago. Now, severely behind, starting to really lag behind from Fearless and even J-Mini. Your Doom is number 1 on the side of Execration, but that is a Doom. Now, he does have BKB. This does mean J-Mini can stand in the front, actually get the proper targets with the Doom, and this might open up opportunities for Execration. They are eyeing top. Savage is alone here. Could be nice if they had some backup to take this kill.
It looks like they're just going to TP out. They're not too interested in trying to go for it. Mid lane, however, you can't really kill the Timber either. So we saw what happened last time they tried that. J-Mini, he's moving up to him, but I highly doubt he even bothers trying. Does have the Doom back up in a few seconds, but just has to be very cautious about the Lotus Orb on Death. Two lanes are being pushed in at the exact same time here for Motivate. Top and mid lane both being forced in, and they have the siege creeps available. So Execration, they're going to be forced to do something about this. Don't want to lose objectives like this for free. It's going to be a smoke up. J Mini with the Doom looks to initiate now onto Fearless, but Fearless has already left. Not sticking around too long on the Storm. And even if you got the Doom off, he has the Aegis anyway. I just don't think he'll die a second time.
No, definitely not. Unless they get the first kill without the Doom and save the Doom for the second life. Not looking likely. There was a bit of time wasted by MG Trust as Boombell and Savage just rode the jolly gank train in the bot lane. No one to find. So overall, I'd say Execration, they're not finding kills. They waste the smoke, but they're not losing heroes as well. And they get this Desolator up in Yoe. So it's going to be a big spike for our PA. If they find the angle, they can potentially burst down one of these squishy heroes. Either the Slardar or the Snap. The Snap is probably going to be a bit easier, but I say that. Our Snap Fire does have a little bit more HP. So they might just blow Boombell up, take out the... Feels. He said try as he disconnected. Not the go-ahead you want, Fearless, as he disconnect, but that's fine. It's fine. We're waiting fine here. But yeah, I mean, the Desolator on our PA could end up, helping burst down one hero, getting the numbers advantage for Execration, and cleaning up afterwards.
This could be a very tough moment here for Execration. They should split out Fearless. I think the ping just came out, so they do know the Storm is there. They have the Blink Doom, but they've got to be able to kill him twice. And I think in the time that you kill him once, the rest of his team will probably be around to not allow you to get the second kill. Give the go-ahead. Jump is there. J Mini, where's the Doom? Not going to come out. He wanted the stun first. He will not get it. That'll be it.
It's a lot of time wasted, so it frees up the mid lane push. That mid tier 2 tower not going to stand for too long. Looks like MG Trust will find an objective, and they've stalled out long enough that the AC is up on Savage. So you've got a tankier frontliner here. Everyone gets a little bit more armor as well to help them survive.
Fearless does zip through. They do go onto BDZ, and now Rupido is also going to be in trouble. But BDZ actually rolls out, and maybe this Mars is also safe. Another pause going to be there from 23 Savage. Very awkward pause here for the Marses. They might have time to think about where he's gone, but it looks like they are having internet issues on the side of Motivate Trust. We are going to have to wait a bit longer, and I don't know, I imagine the Mars is pretty safe. No Blink, no Crush on Boombell at the moment. There isn't even a Vortex on Fearless, so the chances of him actually dying are pretty much slim to none.
Yeah, should be safe to get out. Rupido gets Rapido out of there. Just managing to bail himself out. I would love to see one thing come out here from Fearless. I want him to have the Ags. He's saving up for the Orchid, which is the smart play. But the Ags would be so big here, right? Like, you zip in, you get the AoE Vortex, you get the Gobble Up follow-up with the Crush to follow up from that Gobble Up. That's going to be a clean team fight for MG Trust if they manage to farm up there. Like, we're still waiting for Execration to get BKBs. Yoa's BKB is going to be the big one. Once your PA can stand and fight, not much to worry about. He can focus on bursting down some of these bigger heroes, get the control off. We're seeing J Mini rush his Ags as well for the added value on the Infernal Blade. That is not something you can underestimate. Like, you get that hit off, the stun is pretty ridiculous, upgraded up, and the burn is really painful. So a lot of good spikes lined up here for Execration. And in a way, this Midas buildup is sort of paying off for J Mini, in the sense that he's itemizing. I just feel like it has stalled out the Blink. I think the Blink was really the big one. If they had the Blink a bit earlier, before Fearless finished up his Kaya into Bloodstone, you could have probably gotten a couple of kills in that Storm.
Probably could have. Fearless is still disconnected here, so a bit more of a wait. Unfortunate. Thank you to the Chinese casters pointing out some Dota 2 tips for us. Seems like they're aware that, you know, we're in a pause right now, and we might need some help on the English side, so they're helping us out a little bit.
There goes Diggy.
Oh.
5 minutes left.
These mods, John, they're very strict. Very, very dangerous stuff here. I got timed out yesterday, John. It was,
You tried to dox me. You're doxing me. You doxer.
I posted a link and the mods did not like it.
Oh, thank goodness chat didn't get to use it. Ooh. Ooh, that'd been scary.
That's what you think, John. Maybe someone's watching you right now. You don't even know it.
I know I'm being watched. I know Daddy Zuck is watching over us. You know it is. You know he is.
Absolutely. We do have the go-ahead now. Again, I believe Rupido is going to be perfectly safe to walk out. And yeah, he just TPs out of there. MG Trust won't even bother having a look for him. Motivate, they're just going to get back to it. Back down and pushing that top lane a little bit. Because you pointed out the farm of Yoe. He is doing okay in terms of farm, but needs to be just a little bit quicker. Definitely wants that BKB up ASAP.
Radiant's top tower is under
For at least for now, he will not have it for a bit of time. Which should mean that they do get this top tier 2 tower basically for free on Motivate Trust. And if they really wanted to, they could just keep going, and it looks like they might just have that same idea.
Yeah, they do not have as long the Aegis though. They've got to understand they've got about 40 seconds left in the Aegis. So not too much time left, but they've got this infest on Boombell. They know how strong Death is in the front. It's going to be hard to commit. There is a bit of a wraparound here from Execration though.
Right behind as well from the triangle side. They're going to see Fearless. Nice silence out from BDZ. It's a lot of damage there, but Fearless still not dead. We'll zip around back onto the PA, and meanwhile in the backlines, there's a big Mars Arena being placed down, but nobody's dying quite yet. There goes RR, but 23 Savage does end up dying to the PA, and now Fearless will also lose the Aegis. Have Death controlled up. The silence is there from BDZ again, and Fearless is low, but pops the Bloodstone going back in now. He really wants the team fight. He does get the kill onto the PA. Back onto BDZ, who has an attack following him. He is going to be all right. Fearless really playing with fire there, going back after the PA. He will eventually get him, but it's definitely a great team fight out for Execration. A 2-for-4 trade. They do get a buyback out from the Snapfire.
Yeah, there's a bit of a mistake from Savage. He popped out of the infest as the arena came out, so he was the spear target in the end. And that was enough time for them to rip them apart. A really good wraparound from the back there for Execration. MG Trust as well, baiting fate there, Mike. Look, the Fearless died with the Aegis having, what, 10 seconds left? Maybe about 5. It was right on the edge, and if he just waited, if they held off a little bit longer, Execration would have found a really big kill. Still, that kind of win does net them the Ags on J Mini, so that Infernal Blade upgrade is in play. It's going to burn down a lot more. The stun is going to allow them more windows of opportunity there. And Execration, knowing that they want to reveal this item, do smoke up once more.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to have a lot easier of a time trying to take down heroes like the Timbersaw now with that Infernal Blade upgraded with the Ags. They want to try and show it off ASAP. Mind you, they still don't have the BKB on Yoes, so they do have to be a little bit cautious about the PA, but it looks like they will leave her behind and instead start moving into the triangle where they will run into Boombell and Savage, and they silence both of them up, but they don't end up making the chase. But Fearless, he will jump in and he will get something for their trouble, as Boombell's having a look for a bit more now, but nobody's left, and RR will be the one left to die.
Yeah, it's not the biggest loss for Execration. They still want to make something happen. They're still plumped up. They might find Savage.
Oh, it'd be a nice kill. BDZ, great silence, but a
crush.
huge stun out from Boombell, connecting on all 4 heroes, and Savage will get to work now. On to Rupido, the Infest is there. He's trying to run away. He might just make it, but in the backline, Fearless is going after Yoe, and they clean him up. A very nice team fight out for Motivate. It looked very bad up until that Boombell crush came in. And mind you, John, the crush only lasts 1 second, but it was enough to allow Savage to turn back around with Fearless.
Yeah, that was just on point for Boombill. And Savage, that's the one difference compared to the last fight. He was caught out again, but he had the backing of Boombill. He was safe. Fearless is really starting to rip face, and Execration losing Yoa like that means her PA that we've been talking so much about having to have this BKB gets delayed once more. So you're going to have a little bit more patience in Execration, and that does mean MG Trust have more room to start invading again. Going into the triangle, getting some D wards out, looking for a bit of a shove, or perhaps wait for the next Rosh, which is a bit on the long side this time. About 2 minutes until the next Roshan, so not going to be the quickest one for MG Trust, and they might get a bit impatient here.
That they may. I know though, with the 12k net worth lead, they should be feeling very confident. They might wait out Fearless's BKB and are post the Roshan times. 23 Savage is very happy about that one. Back into the Radiant jungle, Boombill makes the jump in onto BDZ, and that'll be your Earth Spirit just gone. Fearless going for the very long zip, but it is going to be just a little bit too short. Nevertheless, I mean, they found a double damage rune down at the bot rune spot. It is under vision. So, Savage, or Fearless for that matter, can go back for that, and that should allow them to start another team fight.
Yeah, no pressure here. They will have to worry about perhaps the Doom coming out. Again, J-Meanie just needs to find big targets here. Anyone besides that, I think at this point, again, the Timbersaw is not the best target. Savage would be fine. Fearless would be ideal, but he is rather slippery on that Storm. So they have some tools here to play with for Execration in case MG Trust does force something out, but they are playing patiently, just taking over the triangle still, keeping that farm game up, and just not losing their cool, just playing it safe, understanding that if they do drop heroes, well, PA can still bounce back hard.
Invest up, Boombill. Rush down. Yoe would be a great target. He is within blur though, and he's going to remain safe. They will not be able to succeed with starting a good team fight for themselves on the side of 20, or rather the Motivate Trust boys. While this is happening, Yoe does almost have the BKB up now, so things are coming together for them on the side of Execration. They are still playing the kind of avoid game here with Motivate, but both of them may be forced to come together very soon as the Roshan is about to be started by MG Trust. I believe this will be one thing that Execration don't really want to give away for free. It's just going to be a matter of if they can actually go for this fight.
Yeah, they're not aware it's happening. They don't have a scan as well to check out. They are pinging, but Fearless is just going to keep them busy.
Yeah, straight onto BDZ, who's been orchided up, but the Essence Ring is going to save him. Fearless will go back in, but this may cost him his life. The Doom's out, Q with the save, wants to gobble up. He wants to spit him out, but he just could not do it in time. Yoa will clean him up, but now Savage comes in with Boombill onto RR, but the false promise will save his life. Back onto the Timber. Death is in trouble. He has been not doomed up, but just slowed up. Yoa is going to jump back in. Savage still going as well. They clean up both offlaners. Back onto another. It'll be straight onto Boombill. The Slander's going to die. Yoa with this BKB just making all the work happen, and will now TP away from 23 Savage.
Ooh boy, that is a massive swing going the way of Execration. They still lose out in the Aegis, but they force a couple of buybacks. You can see that gold swing here. Just about 3k, 2.5k swing the way of Execration. Really nice amount for them. Great use of that BKB here on Yoe. I do have to say that this talent choice is, I feel, not ideal. Like, he goes for the usual one that we see, Armor Corruption. In this case, if you got the evasion, what hits can Fearless get out? What hits will Savage get out? Savage skips the MKB. So you can just absolutely wreck
Yoe.
face. Now Yoe is still holding bounce back. No.
They're going back in onto Savage. He's been silenced up, but he's going to try and fight back after this PA. J Mini jumps in, but now the arena is there, and they have jumped onto Timber. Infest is out. Savage needs to try and fight back now. He's going to try, but he is surrounded by 5 heroes. Boombill, however, jumps in for a massive stun. It is just not going to prove to be enough. They will lose the Aegis, but now the Gobble Up play, and Fearless going to zip right in after RR. They get rid of the Oracle, they'll get rid of BDZ, but they won't really get much else for their trouble. Maybe they'll go high ground. Savage wants to get started, but he needs a creep wave. It'll come in now, but the Glyph will be forced. That might actually be enough to just force them back here. Or maybe not, but J Mini's going to jump in now, looking for a Doom attempt, but the stun is there, and the Vortex is out as well from Fearless. Still, Yawe is going to die. He buys back immediately. Rupido also gone as Savage. Do they keep fighting? Savage ends up killing off the tower. Yoe jumping in, killing off Boombill, but now Fearless jumps in straight after RR once again, and the Oracle is going to die. BDZ trying to fight it out, but he cannot. Still Yoe kills off Q, goes back towards his Doom, and that'll be enough. Only 2 left on the side of Motivate. They are going to back out of there. They got a hell of a lot for their trouble, and I say back out, but Fearless had some mangoes and might just go back in with a new Abyssal Blade on Savage.
That could be big if they catch Yoe out here. That's the game.
Well, they zip in, but they want the Doom instead. It's the much easier target to go for. The BKB was there by J Mini. Where's the bashes? It won't matter. Fearless is able to kill him off, and that'll mean Savage will just get back to the top racks.
That's going to be a straightforward push for him. Respawns are starting to come out for the supports and Execration, though. They're only going to be able to go for 1. The supports of MG Trust have to make their way back in. They can keep the shove in. It looks like Yoe is just going to try to split push, going to try to farm up while he can, but this could mean additional objectives lost without the PA round.
That it could. Boombill getting looking very happy at how this game is going. We'll get the melee barracks in the mid lane, and that'll be enough. They're in a prime position now with an almost 20k net worth lead to finish off this game. Do they want to get it done now? Looks like they do. And Infest going to be there onto Boombill. Death going to go into the mid lane on the Timber. Still not really afraid to die here on this Timbersaw. Gobble Up is there, and that's what you asked for, John. The 3-man Gobble Up is out. They do jump in onto Rupido, and RR is the one to die first. Onto the Mars. They actually got Fearless. A great spear into the arena, and Yoe going to try onto Savage, but they TP out. Boombill's also going to die, and maybe that was just a bit too far.
That's why you don't do it.
Yeah. Looks like Q also left behind. Can't really escape from this, surely. He'll try, but the spear is going to come out from our Mars, and he is going to die in the end.
Yeah, it's a deep dive there, deep gobble up from Q. And it cost him. That's a big one. Yeah, it's my fault. I did get to see it, though, so that's what? The 3rd time we've seen it. Doesn't pay off. Fearless getting speared into the arena right by the fountain was the bigger issue there. Like, he dives in too deep, doesn't respect the control on the Mars, doesn't pop his BKB as well. So, good comeback there from Execration. They are still holding on somewhat. They are down a lot of objectives, though. They still have a mid-tier one to clear out. That's pretty painful to see. But if they do take this out, they're going to have a little bit more space to play with. Ideally, you start going into those tier 2s, though. That's when you really start to shine. And interesting queue up here from Yoe. Has the Sacred Relic, but still has the Satanic queued up. I suppose we'll have to see. Probably just pocketing it in case they need to go Divine, which is a pretty forward-thinking play for Yoe. And kind of safe as well. So it's the best of both worlds, right? He's ready to diverge into Divine Rapier as need be, but he's not running himself at that risk. So it's a good balanced choice here for Yoe.
Oh, J Mini top lane. They get caught out by Boombill. Gets stunned up immediately. It's going to go down very easily to Savage. Although you won that last team fight for Execration, you can't forget it was right in front of your fountain. You can't get too confident with these big pushes out by yourself. So Savage is still a pretty big powerhouse, and speaking of Savage, John, he does have a full MKB up now. So suddenly Yoe is no longer really safe.
Yeah, it did take 36 minutes. I was really wondering about when that MKB would come in. At least now they can rip through. That was a bit of an issue. Yoe was really evading a lot. It's still going to be a bit of an issue for Fearless, so a lot of the control on the PA has to come out from Savage at this point in the game, because the Storm just generally doesn't build something that allows that. They are going for the Bloodthorn, which should alleviate some of those issues for Fearless, but it's going to take a little bit more until that's up.
We got that Divine, John.
Oh,
Always picked
sweet.
it up. Yeah, and they jump straight in, but 23 Savage is going to be okay as Fearless does try to go back onto the Oracle. Q's already died. They're trying their best. Yoe forced to back off now as Death comes in. The arena has been dropped. J-Mini pops the Doom up, but Fearless jumps back in. That's a lot of damage though. Yoe, he might get through him. He gets Savage, and now Death trying to just chain away, but Fearless has been left behind. The kisses, however, are going to fly in as well, but it doesn't matter. Yoe gets a triple kill out. And they managed to defend that last lane of barracks, at least for now.
Ooh, it's in play. Divine Rapier PA level 25 talent as well with a triplet strike, stifling dagger.
Uh-oh.
Honestly, would have preferred the coup de grace, but you know, this still kind of works, right? Like, you would now ideally want a Basher or a Satanic. One of these two is going to help out Yoe in a big way. But MG Trust, again, I wouldn't say they overextended this time. They were just caught off guard. And if Execration manages to maximize this huge spike in Yoe, well, you've got a couple of issues for MG Trust. They need to finish up this Bloodthorn on Fearless, and then they really, really need the Ags. Like, the fact that he's delayed it this long is really starting to hurt. They need that huge AoE control outside of the Slithery Crush, because quite frankly, the 1 second is enough for like a response, but it's not enough to take complete control in these games. They need that Vortex up on Fearless, and because of this Bloodthorn buildup, and because he had to go for the Lincolns, it's kind of set back. In fact, he skips the Bloodthorn. He's just queuing up the Ag, so he understands the control is key here. I don't know if they're going to have enough time to farm it up, though.
We'll find out. But now, this net worth lead has reduced quite a fair bit. Almost back down to 10k, in fact. They've almost halved it. We'll have to wait and see what the game plan's going to be now from Motivate to try and hold on to this game. What's Dota Plus thinking? Still 82% for Motivated. Of course, did dip quite a lot.
The crits. 2.8k crits on the dagger. Yoe, be happy with the Divine pickup. Roche is going to be up, and there's a courier watching it. Savage is also keeping eyes on it as well. No wards here from Execration. Again, falling flat in terms of control there, but a smoke out first from MG Trust.
Yeah, they want to just go for the play. I think the Roshan wouldn't be too bad, but that courier actually surviving the little shredder. And no, he won't. Boombell does take it out. J-Mini, he did have the Talisman of Evasion on it, but is no longer in this world. Back into that Roshan they go. Because they are very afraid of where the sign of Execration are at the moment.
No, this is not something they can give away. There's an Ag's Blessing here for Fearless.
Uh-oh. Yeah, there was.
There it is.
Maybe that was the game plan from Fearless all along, John. He was gambling with Roshan, and he ends up winning. Very nice. Got the Spell Prism as well on that Storm, by the way.
Oh, beautiful.
Naturally.
You gotta love that. On that Vortex. It's gonna be insane. They have to be careful, Execration. They bounce back with that Divine, but they know they're still in very dire straits here. They're playing it cautious, just trying to get the shove out. A really good wave here on the bot tier too. Should be able to find that tower if it's left alone, and doesn't look like MG Trust might be keen in pulling back, although, you know, with all the mana and Fearless, you can just zip across the map.
Yeah. It's pretty easy for the Storm. They've got a cheese
you
in
see
the
that,
backpack.
Mike?
Yeah, the mangoes,
He
John.
had, there it is, and he's picking up more. Love it.
Good stuff. The mango tree is like one of the most broken neutral items, honestly, if it's used correctly.
Yep. Just so much free gold, free burst mana. You can't underestimate it, especially early game. It's so broken. Still, gonna be waiting a little bit more. That gap in net worth you talked about, Mike, back to 20k. So MG Trust back in the driver's seat. Still cautious about Yoe, as he is still a bit of a threat. Has that Satanic up on the PA, so he has insane burst healing if he gets a crit off in the middle of a fight. You're gonna have to really space your spell use and your disarm use here on this hero.
That you will. We're at this weird point in the game now where both teams are too afraid to initiate, although I say that they found the Storm out, and that's a big one. Fearless gonna die. They use that regen rune to bait him in, and everyone knows there's nothing a Storm likes more than a regen rune, John. Meanwhile, however, Savage kills off RR, and now Rupido going to be in a spot of bother. He's in his own arena, but he's still in trouble. Savage getting to work, but he will pick KB and just kind of moonwalk his way backwards with the spider legs. Burnbell looking to go back in onto the Mars, but he has blinked onto the high ground. A 1-for-1, but it is going to be a support for a core trade. J-Mini and BDZ both just going to TP away. Well, one of them has anyway. BDZ is going to try for it, and looks like he probably will just get away here. And he does. With that Motivate, they can't really fight without that Storm. So they've got to wait it out.
Yeah, they need the AoE Vortex to come in. So it's a matter of waiting for them. They still need to hold off. It's not going to be too long, half a minute, and Execration can't really do anything with that kill. Right? Like, they can't go hunting out. They don't have Doom. So they're going to have to sit back and wait as well. So it's an awkward position for them. They can't even go outside to farm up some items. They can only really just wait for MG Trust to start coming back in. And that's the big downside of Execration's position. They just cannot be the drivers. They're just not the drivers of this game. Even if they're holding out to the Divine, it's all about waiting for an opportunity. And it's down to MG Trust to play it properly. Like, if they keep taking these reckless risks, then it can really start to fall flat. But with Fearless back up, perhaps they can start to find that angle they need.
They're going to try. Back down to the bot lane they go. Savage started. Does pop the Rage to avoid the spear. He's a slight bit cautious because he does have the Rage on cooldown, but does also have the Minotaur Horn, as now they do get the Vortex off onto J-Mini, but not going to mean too much. They do get the bot racks. That'll be Megas coming out. The game is far from over, though, so you can defend Megas very easily with this PA Divine. So Savage, understanding this, is going to go for the throat and go for the throne. Nowhere. Gotta be careful. He does get stunned up by the Abyssal. Now the Vortex is out from Fearless, landing on 3 heroes. Is it enough though? Yoe, he got the false promise. He can fight back. Savage is trying to just survive as he's been stunned up. Yoe does get 1 kill. It's onto Boomba with the Vortex again. Ooh. Fearless just landing on all of them. They do get Rupido and BDZ, and that'll be J-Mini going down as well. The buybacks fly out. The PA in trouble. We'll have some help here from the Mars. Savage still going. Fearless meanwhile in the back, trying to kill off BDZ. He'll roll away, chains forward, back onto the PA. There goes BDZ. That'll be a dieback onto RR. The Ghost Scepter will save. Savage trying to man-fight Yoe. The Vortex again from Fearless onto 3 heroes. Savage somehow still not dead. Does finally go down. And now they'll get another. Death will die. Yoe just surviving throughout all of that.
Oh,
they even caught Fearless out on the Storm. Oh, and it cost them a lot of buybacks, but it just may not matter, John. They did wipe them out. It's a lot of gold going back their way, and I'm not sure what they can get done during these Megas, though. In fact, J-Mini, he's not done. Found Q. It's a bit of a hard kill to get as a Doom, so he's just going to let this one go. But do they have the opportunity to make a push happen? It looks like they're going to try.
I mean, you have to try. That's all you can hope for. Unfortunately, Yoa did lose his courier. So 4 minutes without this Ags that he's been saving up for. Honestly, I don't think Ags was the answer. He needs a Basher. He needs an Abyssal here. He is losing out in terms of control. He needs some control himself to get some damage out, to get the control on top of Savage, on top of Fearless. And MG Trust, despite losing that, aren't out of it. Like, they've got buybacks under heroes. They have enough time. They lose a tier 2, who cares? They've got Megas to still shove out. And Execration need one more fight like that. I'd say maybe 1 or 2 more fights like that. It was unfortunate for MG Trust. The Aegis did expire right as Savage died. So they didn't have that option there. Just took a bit too long. They are still getting some steady item flows in here as well for MG Trust. Nullifier up on Savage. That's going to allow them even more control in these fights and even more ways of pinning down the PA. So Yoa has to be very careful when he does go in for the damage here.
That he will. Aghanim Scepter. Going to be very, very impactful here for this PA. This is when it gets so damn dangerous. It's the constant reset is going to be a real problem. Smoke up. There is going to be an infest down onto Boombell, and the zip in from Fearless with a big vortex out. They caught the Doom. Double stun out. Savage does pop out of the infest as well, but the PA is getting started. Yoe trying to find a target. Savage, meanwhile, gets RR. It's a 1-for-1. Yoe now going back onto Savage with the vortex. Is there from Fearless, but it's not going to be good enough. They have lost Savage, and they will also lose Death. Onto Q. Q will use the Glimmer and just try to run away, but they're going to turn back around now. Boombell trying to get something done. They do cancel the TPs. The Ancient's under siege right now. The creeps are there. Fearless holds down Rupiro and Yoe trying to get out, but the Ancient is still going down. BDZ trying to hold it. Yoe does kill off Boombell, but they need to get back to the base. BDZ, he's defending this by himself. And this is going to be the worst feeling in the world, John, trying to defend against Megasis and Earth Spirit. There's just nothing you can do, so Fearless just zipping back in, but he can't take down the Ancient by himself. I was wondering why they were TPing back, and we found our reason.
Oh my god, this game. This is on the edge. MG Trust are having issues with the PA, and this is when the PA shines. Late game. Absolute monster, right? Like, gonna go for the Ag Synthesis. There's a Basher now as well. So look at Yowie. Basher, level 29, level 30 about to be up as well. So that's gonna be his 100 coup de grace critical damage up, on top of more lifesteal, a lower cooldown in Dagger, additional evasion whenever they don't have a... Actually, that's just gonna absolutely ruin Fearless, that evasion. So you're going to have a huge spike for this PA once the level 30 comes out, and it's going to be up soon. I think MG Trust, even with Megas, you can't rest easy. Lifestealer is starting to look like it's lacking a couple of things to really shine, although Savage is very close to finishing up the Satanic. This should help the cause. Not sure if it's going to be enough to really overcome, but they're going to need something, and the Roche is going to be a massive help as well.
That it will be. Refresher Shard, Aghanim Scepter. Everything going to be available. Who do you give over this Aghanims to? And I suppose Death wouldn't be too bad of a target. And they are indeed going to give the Ags Blessing to Death. Savage gets the Aegis, Fearless takes the Cheese, and the Refresher Shard for that matter. So you do have 2 Vortexes in a row if you really want. Meanwhile, Execration still can't lose the base. They literally have no other buildings up right now apart from that Ancient.
Oh, man.
It's as naked as it gets, John. It is a sight to behold. Let's see if this push can happen. Fearless looking for a big zip in. Does have the infested Lifestealer. Yoe is going to be the priority target here. Going to show himself in the mid lane, but he is blurred up. Side device now up on Rupido. Boombill, nice deep wards out. Fearless gonna zip in. Vortex out. They do take down the Oracle. Now Savage will get started onto the Earth Spirit, but BDZ have the A on disc and will walk away. Looks like Yoe does kill off Fearless. He does buy back. Meanwhile, Savage trying to rush the Ancient. He doesn't want to go for this fight. He just wants the objectives, but the bashes are coming out and he is gonna die. He is gonna die. Fearless zipping back in, the two-man Vortex is out, but the stuns are there. Another Vortex. All the damage is just not enough to fortify. Gonna save the day for Execration. They are still trying though. Motivate, getting rid of two. Boombill does also die. And back to the Ancient it is. It looks like they will finally get it. What a way to finish.
Man.
Motivate, they just gave up on the fight. They just said, screw it, just give me this damn Ancient. Let this game be over. And that it was.
Oh, man. Oh, that was a treat. Execration holding out. Yoa delivering with the PA. Supremely good positioning from him towards the end. He just stood back, had the Divine. In the end, it was just a bit overwhelming. They had so many stacked disarms, so many ways of controlling the PA. Not really having the option to truly focus on that fight, and Savage had his head straight, does hammer in the objective. It's all about the Ancients, Mike.